G'day team, welcome to a new video. Today we're going to go through text, which is, as pretty much everything I make a video on, I feel like is an important topic. So yeah, I'll try and keep this one relatively brief because there's not heaps to it, but there's a few tips and tricks involved. So let's get stuck in. Okay, so the text command is found on the annotate ribbon, and it's just over here, TX. Additionally, the keyboard shortcut is TX, and that's a pretty stock standard one. First thing you'll note is often if you have a leader which you've already placed when you previously put some text in, it's still going to have that option selected. So say we had a leader and we've just written something here, and then we go to use the text command again. See how it's already what the last command had selected, essentially, which can be a bit annoying if you're trying to just do like a standalone text box, and you click and then it wants you to click again and do another leader, and then it's just generally when you go text, have a look at what the leader situation is before you place anything really. With the leaders themselves, you've got a few options. You've just got the one segment which just kind of looks like that. If you want to do two segments, if you like to have nice straight leaders like that, and then additionally, if you're doing some real concept stuff or some fancy, or just if your office standard is trash, then you can do some curvy leaders. But three options, nothing wrong with any of them in particular. You'll notice that these buttons next to it here, this is the location of the leader itself, which is, I'm not going to go on about that too much, but essentially where that little diagram shows, that's where the leader will be coming from with that text. And additionally, you have some alignment here as well. So, it'll justify to the left, justify to the top, and then the center to the right, etc. So if you're doing text with our leader and it's something to do with, for example, if it's over two lines, that would probably look better over centered like that. Whereas if it's going to be a note with a leader, for example, would look better justified to the side like that. And I probably should have done a 2-point leader for that. All right, if we select the text, you'll see there's a drag button up here, which is just the move symbol, which absolutely no prizes for guessing what that does, but it just moves it around. You can rotate the text if you click on the rotatey little buttony thing there. And then these little blue circles on either side of the text, that is going to drag the ends down. So if I was to select the end here, it's going to knock that text onto another line. Which is, if a smart way to do it is to type all of the text out in one long row, and then just drag it in so that the note fits the size that you have allotted to it. I think I mentioned this when I did the video on the annotate button, but Revit actually has a check spelling button for what that's worth. And find and replace is also a really excellent tool, which is kind of it's just going to read the text in the entire Revit file. So if you've ever got a change where you need to change, say a wall cladding is changing from just saying selected lightweight cladding, and you've got that on all of your elevations and they're not tagged, so if you change one of them, they're not all going to update. You can use the, I have a shortcut, I think it's RP, which is just find replace, but it's also just up in the annotate tab there. And you can find something, and if you click entire project, it's going to look through the whole project, and then you can, find whatever it is you want, replace it with whatever it needs to be, and it's just a really handy tool. You'll notice with some text styles that there's going to be a ton of different ones set up in your Revit template. So generally you'll have a different text style for each different size, and then you'll have different kind of categories within that size, for bold or for like with a border or a different colored text. So if I was to, just select Century 1.8, which is the standard text that we use in the office that I work at, all of the information in here, they're all type parameters. So if I wanted to change this between, say I really like this text, but I wanted it to be like a different color, or have a different kind of transparency to the background, you just create a new type for that new text. You wouldn't use this one text and then just modify it as needs be. Like, there's no harm in making a bunch of different text types. I mean, some people might have an issue with that, but there's a good bit of control with how the text will actually show up. So you can change it up so it has a border. So let's just make a totally new text style just to go through it. And we're going to make it by duplicating an existing one, but we're going to call it Revit Smart Text, because why not? Okay, so color, let's make it kind of like a gunmetal black, gunmetal gray. Line weight, let's make it 3. Okay, so background transparent. I'll show you what that means. So if we have a filled region here, right? And we just put some example text in here. So see how the background of that filled region is showing up through the text itself. If we were to change the type and then change the background to opaque, that's not going to be filled in there anymore. So it kind of creates like a masking region behind the text itself. So let's continue through. So if we go show border, that's now going to show a border around the text, whereas before there was no border. You could see the border when you'd highlight it over the text, but not when it's not selected anymore. So at the moment we've just got a little leader arrowhead that looks like that, but there's a few different ones to choose from. Have a scroll through and just choose one that you like, really. I actually do like this one. And then of course we've got the text font, the size of the text itself, the tab size, whether it's bold, italic, and underline, which is something that you can set up like here in the type parameters. So it's just going to be like that anytime you use that text, or you can always override that if you click on the text again, it will take you to this kind of modify note, and then we could make it bold, for example. So if we were just going to go crazy with all of these examples, yeah, that looks just shocking, just terrible. So you can't go too far. So it gives me great pleasure to delete that, and we'll go back to our trusty standard. We'll type in a little example sentence here just so that I can show you some more kind of tools that you can use when actually modifying the text here. Now, if we select the text and then click on it again, it brings up a different kind of ribbon up here. So, as mentioned before, you can override things, add them like bold, italics, underline, etc. Additionally, you can do subtext and supertext. So, if we wanted this, example to be a smaller text, you can do as so. Same deal with supertext, but just using these little buttons here. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Don't have to do this stuff too much, but yeah, it's just good to know. One tool that is actually very legitimately handy is if we select all of this, and so often is the case when you accidentally, most drafting offices, everything is going to be in full caps locks. So if you've accidentally typed something in and you've then noticed that it's not in caps lock, you don't have to delete it. There is a button up here which will make it all caps locks, which is super handy if needed. And then additionally, you have just the standard controls that you would expect in any kind of, like, you know, Word document or Excel document, like putting little dot points and, you know, indenting paragraphs and stuff like that. Everyone should know how that stuff works. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah. Alrighty, that should just about wrap it up. I hope you got something out of that. If not, then I hope you enjoyed our lovely time together. As always, if you have any questions or requests for videos, let me know. Otherwise, thank you as always for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.